Today's video, we're going to be replacing an engine mount. Down here, this is the driver's side, and the engine mount bolt, it's okay. It's nice and straight, and it's got a nut on the other side. I'll show you this better once we get the thing inside. But this is the problem down here. You can see this one here. You can see that's not right. It's actually missing the nut on the other side, and the bolt is bent. We're going to have to get that taken care of. We're going to pull that out. Hopefully I can just slide another new bolt in there and I don't have to replace the whole engine mount. We're going to start off by getting this thing running, and then we're going to pull it in the shop over here where we can get out of this wind. It's pretty cold and windy out here today. I had this battery on the charger last night. I don't even try to start this thing anymore without starting fluid. Unless it's been running for a little while and the engine is nice and warmed up. It'll usually start back up after the engine is warm. I had this running two days ago, 3 days ago. Yeah, this is cold. I probably need to start keeping this inside. Let's make sure we got battery power and the fuel pump comes on. Yeah, if you watch my other video about doing the cold start and fixing the carburetor, you probably saw there was a big mouse in here, so got a couple of glue traps in here. All right, battery gauge went up. I can hear the fuel pump running. Let's just go ahead and see what this thing will do. Not much, as I suspected. I think that took like 10 minutes. But we're going to start running this at least once a week. Every week I'm going to start it and let it idle for like 20 or 30 minutes. It was running a lot better a year ago because I think I just started it all the time. I was actually using it around my property a little bit. This engine shakes a lot. I think that the timing is not right on this engine. It needs some adjustment. And I used to think the shaking was just because the timing was off. And then I realized that one of the motor mount bolts is bent and loose. So I'm sure that's got something to do with it. I'm going to put some cardboard down to protect the floor. This thing leaks. The hydraulics leak, the PTO, and the transmission leaks. Trying to get some light set up so we can check this out. You can see how that bolt there, it doesn't look right. It's obviously loose or bent. That's the other side of it right there, and you can tell it's missing the nut. I'm not sure how I'm going to get that out of there. So let me grab a couple tools, a hammer. I may have to jack the engine up a little bit. I've said before, I'm more of a parts changer. I'm not a mechanic. I've never replaced an engine mounting bolt. Not really sure what I'm doing. I'm thinking with the weight of the engine sitting down on that bolt, it's going to be hard to get it out. Or maybe if I get it out, beat it out with a hammer, I don't know, is the engine going to fall down even more? So I think we got this nice floor jack. I think I'm going to try to get it positioned up under the engine somehow and jack it up a little bit. Try to raise the engine up or just kind of ease the tension off of that bolt. Hopefully it'll be easy then to knock it back out of there. I feel like jacking it up on the oil pan is not that good of a thing to do. Whatever this is, the bell housing, I guess, is that bell housing of the transmission? I don't know, but I think it's probably more solid than the oil pan. We are back outside in the cold wind today. So we got to change our plan on this truck. I was not able to get this engine bolt out, and it might be a good thing. I used the jack, a floor jack, and I kept jacking up the engine and trying to take pressure off the bolt, and I was beating on that thing. I spent, I don't know, an hour working on this thing, just beating on the bolt, and anyway, I cannot get it out. But my brother pointed something out, that obviously this engine mount, the whole engine mount, needs to be replaced anyway. If you look down here on the passenger side, on the right side of the truck, the exhaust manifold is right up against the frame of the truck. Over on the driver's side, you have a lot of room right here. I can put my hand down there between the exhaust and the frame rail. So the whole engine is kind of sitting down like that. Looking at the engine mount, I can see it sitting above this piece. I can see it. This one does not look broken. Just looking at it, it looks okay. Very old and rusted and corroded, but it looks like it's still pretty stable. Over on the passenger side, this is the one that the bolt needs to be replaced, and you can see the bolt kind of hanging out of there. It does not look the same as the driver's side. Obviously the bracket, whatever the clamshell thing or the rubber, the polyurethane, whatever's in between there, it is obviously, it's like crushed down, and the bracket is, it's hanging over part of the frame here. I can't explain it, but I can see it's clearly something's not right. So it's a good thing that I'm not going to just replace the bolt, because there would still be a problem. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to try to rethread the other side of that bolt and put a nut on it for right now. This right here is a rethreader. I thought it was a die out of a tap and die set, but it's called a rethreader. And this bolt up here is very rusted. I don't know how long the nut has been off of there. I bought a new grade 8 nut. I assume that this is it's a 7/16 nut, 14 thread. That's what that's supposed to be, so I'm guessing that's what it is. Anyway, we're going to try to rethread that enough to get a washer and a new nut on there. Basically just get it all tight for temporary use, and then we will replace this engine mount here in the next couple of months. I did put a little bit of fresh engine oil on this. I've never used one of these before, so it said to put some oil on there. That's what I did. Alright, I'm going to keep playing with this, and I'll get back to you. All right, we may have another problem now. As I'm trying to rethread the bolt, I got my wrench. As I'm trying to rethread the bolt is just spinning. It's so rusted, the rethreader will not go on there. The bolt is spinning. So I have, on the other end right here, I've got some vice grips. The vice grips are not moving, but the other side of the bolt is just spinning. I think the bolt must be broken in there somewhere. Put another one in the fail category for me. I am not going to be able to replace this engine mount bolt. The bolt has got to be broken. Over here in the engine side, I've got the vice grips on there and they are not moving. But the rethreader and the other side of the bolt, it just spins and spins. So I'm going to have to replace the whole engine mount. If I'm going to be hauling gravel with this and towing a tractor, it's probably good to just do it anyway. I'm assuming those are original from 1988. Probably going to be safer to have new ones in there anyway. I had planned on doing new headers on this thing and a whole new exhaust. I wasn't going to get to that quite yet, but I'm going to have to go ahead and step that plan up, because if I take these headers off that are on here, I think that's going to be a lot easier to get to the engine mount. Plus, I've been watching some videos on it and it's pretty tricky. You got to take the wheels off and take a bunch of the suspension apart, I think, to get to some bolts underneath the underside. That'll be coming up in a video pretty soon. It's still pretty early in the day here today, so the next thing we're going to be working on today, we're going to be taking off this dump bed. That'll be in a video coming up pretty soon. Once I get this dump bed off of here, that's going to help me get to the hydraulics, the PTO, the wiring, the exhaust. There's a lot of things that we're going to be working on. If you made it this far in my video, thank you for watching.